This is Shay Stanford. I wanted to go live and share a story with you guys that's kind of unfolded over the last few months with our family. So this started back in August, and Raina came to me. So Raina is my 16-year-old. She's the one that taught herself how to speak Japanese, and she's a great student. She takes honors classes or whatever. Hey, Natalie. She came to me in August, and she said, Mom, she said, can I get tested for dyslexia? And I was like, my first thinking was, wow, you make really good grades. You're a bright kid. Like, why on earth would you want to get tested for dyslexia? And she goes, I feel like I really struggle in some areas, and I would like to get tested. And the interesting thing is I found it really difficult, even with search engine utilization, to find a way to get her properly tested. So the very next month in September, Neil and I went to the UK, and my sister-in-law, Naomi, so Neil's brother's wife, actually works for the county, so to speak, with dyslexic kids. And so I was mentioning this to her, and she goes, well, we have screening and things like that. She goes, when I go to work, I'll just bring one home and you can give it to Raina. And I said, well, share with me a little bit about what it's, like. And so she was going over a lot of the factors, characteristics of dyslexia. And I'm like, gosh, all those sound like me. So I asked her to bring two home, and I took it. And I came not severe, but my results were moderate to severe. So I was like really surprised. And fortunately, Naomi was there, so I got to talk with her about a lot of like what it meant. And it validated a lot of the struggles I had had growing up. I really struggled in school. In fact, I probably made C's my entire life. I took the SAT literally one time, and I did so poorly, I refused to go back and take it because it was such an awful experience for me to take that timed test. And I was humiliated with my score. And I'm like, you know what, I'll just go to a community college and just, try and get better grades there to get into a bigger college. Unfortunately for soccer, I ended up going to an amazing college in North Carolina, but that was because of my athletic ability, definitely not because of my grades. I've always struggled with school. And then even like with writing posts, a lot of what I do here is to write posts, and I look back at my things that I write, and I've proofread it so many times, and it looks normal, and then sometimes I see it, and I'm like, wow, like how did I make those mistakes? So a lot of things I've struggled with really made sense to me. So I've always struggled with writing. I've struggled with math. I'm a very, very slow reader. It takes me forever to process something. But once it's there, I have like a photographic type memory. Like I never forget. I'm very detail oriented. The things I'm good at concepts. Like I can explain concepts. I see things and I learn in images, and I'm very visual. I almost have like, I think in senses, if that makes sense. It's kind of weird, but like when I'm talking with somebody, all the factors I can like sight, smell, like all of those kind of are highly attuned for me, but it's so detailed that I'm very, see here, I'm trying to think of the words. I don't know, like I remember everything. I'm very detail oriented, but anyway, and I'm very creative. So I have strengths that have been great that have helped me work around the dyslexia. But with Raina, she came back about the same as I did. Her stuff is a little bit different than mine, but why I wanted to jump on, number one, was to share with you guys that I really have noticed a real breakdown in the US way of diagnosing. I mean, how is it that I'm 45 years old and I'm just now getting diagnosed? And here I thought that I just was a really crappy student my whole life. And the perception, because I'd mentioned to somebody that I was going to get Raina tested, and they said, no, don't do that, don't get her tested, because then she's going to be branded as stupid the rest of her life, and that she's got a learning disability, and that's the last thing you want, is to have her have that image. And I'm like, well, but that's not what dyslexia is. The way the lady described it to me, it's almost like if you have two cars and one is a manual and one is one is a manual, one's automatic. The car is going to get you to the same place. It's just it does it in a different way. It's wired different. It goes through a different brain process. And I started Googling people that were famous that are dyslexic, and I feel like there's such this stigma in the US that I have found, where dyslexia is stupid people. And I feel like, wow, if we could be so much better about diagnosing it earlier so people don't go through their life feeling the way I did, and have better opportunities for colleges and, different ways of learning in a way that we excel compared to the traditional way. One of the things that Raina found out, that if she does have an official diagnosis, then she does get extra time on tests, which was always something that gave me a lot of anxiety because I read so slowly and process slowly. So that was something that, I was just reading your comment, Sasha. So that's something I'm like, I really want to make a difference with that. I want to change the perception of people that are dyslexic. I want there to be more resources. So here's the thing. So I took Raina to this center last week. A good friend of ours, their daughter's dyslexic, and she's 8 years old, and she goes to this special school. Just for Raina to get a diagnosis, just for her to take the proper screening to have it on paper, is $900 to $1,500. Just to take the test, and for it to be official, to where then she can take that and get benefits like extra time on tests and things like that. I thought that was ridiculous. I mean, how is the average person, how's the average family supposed to afford that, to have their poor kids screened? I know, like with my sister-in-law, they have all these preliminary screenings that were amazing. And then the schools, there are special schools for people that are dyslexic. There's even colleges and things, but the prices are absolutely ridiculous. It's just interesting. So I was inspired by the fact that there are resources, but I was also really disheartened at the amount, because it's such a niche thing, which it shouldn't be. Apparently 1 out of 5 people are dyslexic. How many people aren't getting the tools that they need, or think that they're stupid, or thank goodness for Raina realizing some of her shortcomings and coming to me and asking. And even I initially was like, what are you talking about? So I really want to start sharing more, and I would love to hear you guys if you have experiences with this. I am an open book. Like, I want to learn as much about this, and I also want to make a difference in educating people that people aren't stupid, and maybe try and get earlier screenings for people so that they can get the time and the help in the learning process that they need. So anyway, I wanted to jump on because I feel like it's a really important topic, and when I found out that 1 out of 5 people struggle with this, I think it's what's a brief description. So it's a spectrum of mild to severe, and that's kind of what I'm like whoop squirrel. Okay, as I learn more about the descriptions, like I know how it is for me, and I know how it is for Raina, but everybody kind of has different things. But I am definitely going to start sharing about it more and what I learned, and I would love for people who have been through this quite a bit to share below as well. So I called the school, I called Raina's high school and asked to speak to the guidance counselor, and they said that they don't do testing at all, and that they could refer her to the school psychologist. That's what I got. So, hang on. I love this. My daughter's dyslexia is intensified with stress and anxiety. So the adaptogens in our superfood shakes make a huge difference. That's interesting, that it's intensified with stress and anxiety, because I know for me, when I'm really stressed, I can't even write a blog post. I can't sit down and write. It's almost impossible, which is why I love Facebook Live, because I can just go on and talk. I don't have to worry about the things being all jumbled around. So in Texas, the schools offer it for free. Myomi, I was just talking about you, giving you kudos for the screenings that you gave Raina and I. But it's definitely different in the UK compared to the US. Like and even the counselor at the school that not Raina's high school, at this dyslexic school we went to last week, she says the UK is far more advanced and way more in tune with diagnosing kids early and having programs for them. But yeah, so her high school, they want nothing to do with it. I don't know if it's a state of Florida thing, but I really want to create awareness for people. I don't want people to go through life feeling that they're deficit in certain ways, the way I did, and that there's so many advancements and opportunities for people that are dyslexic that need to be shared more. So I would love to hear anybody's experience on this topic, whether for themselves or for their kids, both from the US and the UK. Definitely would love to hear both sides, because I know the UK has way more advancements. So that's what I got. So I look forward to reading your comments and learning more about this and sharing it with you guys. All right, have a great day.